People don't need to accept you. There's this mentality going around in society that people are getting like super offended if other people aren't accepting them as they are. And they're getting super offended if those other people don't see them in the exact way that they prefer to be seen. And this is just crazy. Like, this is nonsense. Nobody has to accept you. And you don't even accept yourself unless you're living 100% in alignment with the version of yourself that you're being called to be, which very few people on this planet actually are. There's people that are coming close. There's people that are very close to that. But you're probably not one of those people unless you're just really killing it in all areas. But nobody has to accept you. And there's actually a freedom in understanding this and accepting this. Like, if you're in business and you're trying to market yourself and you're creating content and you're interacting with people, you're interacting with potential clients, customers, some of those people are not going to accept you, and you have to be okay with that. Some of these people that you're interacting with or reaching, they're not going to care about you. They're not going to agree with you. They're not going to vibe with you, and you have to be okay with that. Now, some of them are going to vibe with you, agree with you, and care about what you're saying. And some of them are going to accept you, and that also doesn't matter. You're here to provide value regardless of whether somebody accepts you. And the more that we can be free of the need to have other people accept us, the easier it is to just do what you're doing. Like, create your content, create your whatever you're putting out there, like add the value, create the value, regardless of whether anybody accepts you or not. Really, the most important thing is that you accept yourself. And I don't mean that in like a tolerating way where you've got all these flaws and you've got all these shortcomings and you're like, I accept who I am. I'm not going to change it. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, are you being the person? Are you becoming the person? Are you doing the things that you're being called to do at the level that you're being called to do them? And if so, that would be a point at which you're accepting yourself. And even then, there's always more. There's always more to be. There's always more to do. So it's almost like this constant growth. And it doesn't have to be like this stressful, yucky feeling of, oh, I'm never going to get there. Or like, oh, it's never going to happen for me. It's like you're present in the moment and you're striving in this healthy way to be the version of yourself that you know you can be deep down. And your conscience is telling you, do this, be this. Like, that's coming from inside of you. It should be inspiring and not like the sense of drudgery or the sense of pressure. Like, you can actually be striving constantly all the time to become your best self and not fully accept yourself, like, if that makes sense. So, this whole movement in society where everyone is trying to be accepted by everyone else, it's never going to happen. You have to let that go because you're just not going to vibe with everybody. You're not going to have the same beliefs or the same viewpoints or the same worldview as certain people, and you need to like forget about it. Like, some people are just not going to join you, and that's fine. And you don't need other people's acceptance to make a difference. You don't need other people's acceptance to contribute value, right? Like, let people self-select into your sphere and let them extract the value that you're offering. And that's that. And like, that's all it takes. And they don't even have to accept you personally. Like, they can still find something of value that you're doing. And I mean, that's like the coolest thing, where the person doesn't even like you and they're still buying from you because you're so valuable. I think that's cool.